Hello, I'm Sneha Koshi. Sharad Pawar has hit out at Ajit Pawar for the age jibe made at him. He said, I may be 82 or 92 years old, I'm still effective. He was speaking after the crucial working committee meeting called for in Delhi for the NCP faction backing Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar has also written to the Election Commission of India questioning why he was not informed about his nephew staking claim for the party symbol. The meet ratified the expulsion of 9 rebel MLAs who took oath as ministers in the ruling alliance, and Praful Patel, Sunil Tatkare and SR Kohli who have sided with the rebels. All 27 state units of the party are with Sharad Pawar, the leaders said after their meeting. Meanwhile, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi has also met Sharad Pawar at the NCP president's residence in an apparent show of support for the veteran leader amid a rebellion in his party.
अजीत पवार को नेशनल प्रेसिडेंट नियुक्त किया है 30 तारीख को।
किसी ने कुछ कहा मुझे मालूम नहीं। अब तो मुझे एक बात पक्की है कि राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पार्टी का मैं प्रेसिडेंट हूँ। दूसरा किसी ने अपने नाम पर स्टेटमेंट दे दिया, कुछ बात कही, तो बात कह सकते हैं, इसमें कोई इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं, कोई सच्चाई नहीं है।
अजीत पवार ने आप पर पर्सनल अटैक करके आपकी उम्र पर सवाल उठाया है, कहा आप इस्तीफा देते हैं फिर इस्तीफा वापस नहीं लेते हैं। शरद पवार को इस तरह से पर्सनल अटैक पर आप क्या कहेंगे? आप 82 साल के हो गए।
Now I work more effectively. Whether 82 or 92.
And my colleague Sohit spoke to senior NCP leader in the Ajit faction, who's also a minister now in the Maharashtra coalition. Chagan Bhujbal.
शपथ विधि के अगले दिन आप लोगों ने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस की, हम वहीं पर सह्याद्री में मौजूद थे। तब जब पूछा गया कि पार्टी का अध्यक्ष कौन, तब अजीत दादा ने ही कहा शरद पवार। लेकिन बाद में हमें पता चलता है कि 30 तारीख को ही शरद पवार जी को पार्टी के अध्यक्ष पद से निकालने का फैसला जो है लिया गया, चुनाव आयोग को भेजा गया। लेकिन इसके बावजूद कल भी जो बैठक हुई उसमें सबसे बड़ी तस्वीर उनकी ही थी। तो इसे किस तरह से समझा जाए?
2 सवाल पूछ रहे एक साथ। उस समय जो है शायद अजीत पवार चाहते थे कि सारे पत्ते जो है हम खोल ना दे। क्यों खोले? समय आने पर जो मालूम पड़ेगा सबको कि क्या हुआ है। और कल भी जो है मैंने खुद कहा था कि भाई ठीक है, जो हुआ से हुआ, मगर आज भी हम पवार साहब की इज्जत करना चाहते हैं, उनको सम्मान देना चाहते हैं, इसलिए उनकी तस्वीर लगाओ। हमने लगाया और कल मेरे भाषण में भी हमने कहा कि वो हमारे गुरु है, नेता है, मगर जो उनके इर्द गिर्द जो लोग जमा हुए हैं, जिनकी वजह से जो है कई सारे पहले भी घटनाएं घटी है, ये जो नहीं होनी थी, बीजेपी के साथ बार बार चर्चा करना जाने का तय होना और फिर पीछे हटना, क्या ये सब जो हुआ एक बार नहीं हुआ, कई बार हुआ। 2014 से यही जारी है हमारे साथ। फिर भी मैंने कहा कि ठीक है, जो है हम सब भूल कर आगे चलते हैं। अब करें साहब का हम सम्मान रखें, अब क्या करें। साहब और मेरा फोटो ने तस्वीर मत लगाओ, और जिनको कुछ मालूम नहीं कि 91 से छगन भुजबल कैसे उनके साथ खड़ा होकर लड़ रहा है, कांग्रेस से निकाला गया, तब में कांग्रेस का विरोधी पक्ष नेता था, कांग्रेस के माध्यम से कांग्रेस वर्किंग कमेटी में मेंबर था। मैं पहला आदमी था कि मैं पवार साहब के जाऊंगा। मैंने कहा जैसे कि मेरे जो गवर्नमेंट का निवास था वहीं जो है इस पार्टी का जन्म हुआ। तो बात यह है कि तब से और इतना लड़ा उन सबके सामने में। जब विरोधी पार्टी है तो हमारा काम जो है लड़ना, पूरी ताकत से हम लड़े। हमने कई सारे लोगों को क्या कहे कि हमारे घर के ऊपर हमला हुआ, बाल बचे, एक बार नहीं कई बार। हमारे भाषण से कई बार लोग हर्ट भी हुए, उसकी भुगतान भी हमको देनी पड़ी। बिल्कुल हमने पार्टी के लिए करना था, क्योंकि जब तक वो करेंगे नहीं हमारी पार्टी आगे नहीं बढ़ेगी। हम गोल गोल बात नहीं करते रहे कभी।
And top leaders of the Congress held a 4-hour marathon meeting on Rajasthan polls, which are expected later this year, where it was decided they would fight the election unitedly under the leadership of Ashok Gehlot. No power-sharing formula emerged as was being speculated, but Sachin Pilot seems to have conceded for the moment as his 3 demands are being addressed.
The Congress's big huddle on Rajasthan. Over 25 ministers and MLAs, senior leaders, Sachin Pilot and Ashok Gehlot, joining via video conference. But unlike Chhattisgarh, the party hasn't come up with a formula to resolve the Rajasthan leadership tussle. Though after the meeting, Sachin Pilot said that even suggests life imprisonment for those who leak exam papers. A committee to relook at the Rajasthan Public Commission and to act against charges of corruption against the Vasundhara Raje government.
मैंने जो इश्यूज उठाए थे पब्लिक में, पेपर लीक के इशू हम लोगों ने उठाए थे, बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है, जो यंग लोगों को प्रभावित करता है. हमारी जो पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन है उसको हम कैसे रिफॉर्म करें, उसको कैसे और पुख्ता बनाएं, कैसे पारदर्शी बनाएं और जवाबदेही बनाएं. जो पिछली सरकार के करप्शन के इश्यूज थे, उन सब बातों को मैंने कई समय से मैं पब्लिक में रख रहा था और मुझे खुशी है उन सभी बातों को, उन सभी इश्यूज का संज्ञान पूरी तरह एआईसीसी ने लिया है, कांग्रेस पार्टी ने लिया है और इस सभी पर कार्रवाई करने के लिए भी आगे की रूपरेखा बनाई है.
But what's the formula to accommodate Sachin Pilot? Pilot himself said he would work for the party in whatever capacity the party decides.
आने वाले समय में जो भी खड़गे जी, राहुल जी, हमारे एआईसीसी जो निर्णय लेगी, जो रोल मुझे अदा करना होगा, उस पर जो भी हमारी पार्टी निर्देश करेगी उस पर हम काम करेंगे.
The Congress has been trying to resolve the leadership clash in Rajasthan, looking for a way to accommodate Sachin Pilot, while Gehlot himself appears reluctant to share space on the helm, going into this election leading from the front and hoping for a second term, banking on his social welfare pitch. But for now, it appears some kind of a rapprochement has been arrived at.
We are very sure that Rajasthan is going to be win by the Congress party. We will fight together in the election. There is a government, good government is there. Government is doing very good calm.
The public fighting within the Congress party in the Rajasthan state unit is definitely something that the Congress leadership realizes it has to stop at the earliest. With, of course, a rapprochement being made, the big question is it a little too late and will it help the Congress retrieve the political ground in the state? With camera person Kanan, Sunil Prabhu, NDTV.
And in the money laundering case, businessman Dinesh Arora has been arrested. He was an approver in the CBI case against former Delhi Minister Manish Sisodia. Dinesh Arora has now been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. I'm being joined by my colleague Arvind Gunashekhar right now for more on this. Arvind, what are the details?
Sneha, businessman Dinesh Arora has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate in connection with this money laundering investigation in relation to the Delhi liquor policy case. While CBI is probing the corruption allegation in the Delhi liquor policy matter, the Enforcement Directorate, taking cognizance of CBI's affair, is probing the money laundering investigation into this case. That is, the proceeds of crime being investigated by the Enforcement Directorate. While Dinesh Arora is a prosecution witness or an approver in CBI's case, because CBI is using the statement of Dinesh Arora as their witness, and they have charge-sheeted Manish Sisodia and others in this particular case. While in an interesting development, the Enforcement Directorate has chosen to arrest Dinesh Arora in this particular case as an accused. That means Dinesh Arora will be a prosecution witness or the CBI's witness in CBI's case, while he is an accused in Enforcement Directorate's money laundering investigation. So this is not the first time such a peculiar situation is happening in this particular case. This is second such instance where a person who is a prosecution witness in CBI's case is turning into an accused in Enforcement Directorate case. So this is one such instance where Dinesh Arora, who is a prosecution witness in CBI's case, has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate, and he will be named as an accused in the Enforcement Directorate charge sheet. So this will be the first in case scenario. In a predicate offence, someone is a witness, whereas in a scheduled offence, whereas in an Enforcement Directorate money laundering investigation, someone will be named as an accused. So we have to wait and watch how this case proceeds forward in court of law. But the Enforcement Directorate has arrested Dinesh Arora, who is a witness in CBI's case in connection with the money laundering investigation.
Right, Arvind. Thank you very much for those details. And Prime Minister Modi will be on a whirlwind tour of 3 poll-bound states and Uttar Pradesh starting Friday. 4 states in 48 hours. Inaugurations of 5 big-ticket projects on the cards. After Chhattisgarh, next stop will be Telangana, where BJP has also appointed a new state president. Also a state where BJP has a formidable challenge after the Karnataka debacle.
अगर कोई तेलंगाना विकास के ऊपर अब उनको कोई इंटरेस्ट है, प्रजातंत्र के ऊपर इंटरेस्ट है, तेलंगाना जनता का भला चाहते हैं तो आना चाहिए. अगर तेलंगाना का जनता का भला नहीं चाहते हो, तेलंगाना का विकास नहीं चाहते हो, प्रजातंत्र के ऊपर विश्वास नहीं है तो आप ना बताइए, आपकी मर्जी.
Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma has said that without making alternative livelihood for the coal mining workers, it is not possible for the state government to completely stop the illegal coal mining and transportation of coal. Rat hole mining, an extremely unsafe practice in Meghalaya, Assam and other northeastern states, involves digging narrow tunnels, each of which fits only one person to enter and extract coal, benefiting the coal traders. This is a practice which has been banned by the National Green Tribunal. Many workers have got trapped in the illegal and unsafe mines and have subsequently died. 5 died in mid-2021, but only 3 bodies were retrieved after the flooded coal mine. After several hectic efforts over 27 days in East Jaintia Hills district. Let's listen to what the Chief Minister has had to say.
We have to also realize the reality of things. I mentioned in my speech also that people have been engaged in this form of mining for the last 200 years, and the livelihood has been based around that. So unless and until alternate forms of livelihood don't come up, people will keep going back into those activities. It is not possible for administration to completely stop everything, in the sense that we cannot go and we move this side, the other side somebody will move. But effort is on.
It's time for a short break, but do remember to download our NDTV app for round-the-clock updates for all the news from across the world. Welcome back. The size of India's middle class will nearly double to 61% of its total population by 2047, from 31% in 2021, as continuing political stability and economic reforms with a sustained annual growth rate of between 6% and 7% over the next 2.5 decades will make the country one of the largest markets in the world, according to the latest estimates.
India's middle class is set to double by 2047, according to a report by the People Research on India's consumer economy. The report, which was released by former CEO of Niti Aayog, Mr. Amitabh Kant, says that the share of the middle class in India's total population will grow from about 31% in 2021 to over 60% in the year 2047, meaning over half of our country's population will be middle class by the year 2047. But how do we really define middle class? These are the people who have an annual income between 5 to 30 lakh rupees, according to the report. Now, the report also says that the number of people in the middle class will more than double from over 400 million in 2021 to over 1 billion in 2047, as you can see here. The number of rich people on the other side, these are people with an annual income of over 30 lakh rupees. The number of these people will grow around 8 times, from 56 million in 2021 to 437 million in 2047. While these two classes are clearly growing, the number of comparatively poor people or aspirers and destitutes will actually fall. The number of people with an annual income of 1.25 lakh to 5 lakh rupees will actually fall from 732 million in 2021 to around 184 million in 2047. Along with that, the number of people with an annual income of less than 1.25 lakh rupees, that number will actually fall fall from 196 in 2021 to just 25 million in 2047. Since India's population is not falling, it's only growing. So it's clear that people falling in these last two categories are likely to upgrade to higher income classes, to the middle class, most likely. Though it's important to note here that 5 lakh rupees today won't have the same value in 2047, as there will be inflation as well. So an upgradation simply in income terms might not always mean an upgradation in the standard of living. But what are the reasons for the changes? Well, the report says that if political and economic reforms have the desired effect, that's when we can expect these changes. And why is this significant? Well, India's middle class is the country's biggest contributor in terms of income, spending and savings. Middle class, which makes about 30% of the country's population, generates about half the country's income, expenditure and savings, while the rich, that make up about 4% of the population, contribute to about 23% of the country's income. On the lower end, aspirers make up half the country's population, but they only generate a quarter of the income, while destitutes make up about 13% of the population, but they generate just about 2% of the total income, as you can see in this figure. Let's also see how these distributions have changed over the past few years. The number of super rich or households with an annual income of more than 2 crore rupees actually doubled from 1995 to 2021. The share of destitutes is expected to fall to about 2% in 2047, while the middle class is expected to grow from 14% in 2005 to around 63% in 2047. Next, let's look at the state-wise distribution. Well, Maharashtra is the richest state with the highest number of quote-unquote super rich households, followed by Delhi, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu and Punjab. As you can see here, in fact, half of the country's super rich live in Maharashtra and Delhi.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau denied being soft on Khalistani radicals, saying India is wrong and that Canada has always taken serious action against terrorism, rebutting criticisms that his government has been lax on pro-Khalistan activists within the country. This after India expressed concern over escalating activities by pro-Khalistan elements in Canada and claimed Trudeau was protecting his vote bank. Meanwhile, Khalistani protesters have planned protests across Canada on Saturday.
Amid pro-Khalistan supporters declaring their intent to protest outside Indian embassies in Canadian cities, as part of a freedom rally on the 8th of July, the Canadian Prime Minister has denied allegations that his government is soft on Khalistan supporters for electoral gains.
They are wrong. Canada has always taken extremely seriously violence and threats of violence. We've always taken serious action against terrorism, and we always will. We have an extremely diverse country, and freedom of expression is something that we have, but we will always make sure that we are pushing back against violence and extremism in all its forms.
This, as India had asked Canada to urgently act against extremists who deliberately blamed Indian diplomats and security agencies for killing 45-year-old designated terrorist and Khalistan Tiger Force Chief Hardeep Singh Nijjar.
First and foremost, there are two separate elements. You would have seen posters inciting violence against Indian diplomats. I think, Manas, you were referring to that. What do we do? What is our overall sense? Look, our sense is that these posters inciting violence against our diplomats and our diplomatic premises are abroad are unacceptable, and we condemn them in the strongest terms. We have called on the Government of Canada to take all steps to ensure the safety of our diplomats and security of our diplomatic missions in Canada. It is a matter of concern that freedom of expression and speech is once again being misused by anti-India elements based in Canada.
Meanwhile, after the San Francisco Indian consulate was attacked and vandalized, US Ambassador to India Eric Garcetti has said Washington is doing everything to ensure the safety of Indians.
You know, as a diplomat myself, I want to say we take very seriously our obligations, and those people that do this critical work cannot be attacked, threatened, cannot see firebombs or acts of arson. The places that they go and work, they are people with families, they are individuals, and we will do everything we can under the law in the United States to protect them. I also have a different perspective, or a good perspective, as a former mayor.
Across continents, a poster promoting a Khalistan Kill India rally outside the Indian High Commission in London on the 8th of July has surfaced. British Foreign Secretary James Cleverly has now reacted, saying any attacks on the mission are completely unacceptable.
As you are aware, we've had problems with the security of our mission in London. We have taken up this latest issue of threats against our diplomats with the UK authorities.
On the eve of the Freedom Rally, rumours of the death of Guptwant Singh Pannu, a proscribed terrorist, in a car accident surfaced close on the heels of Nijjar's mysterious killing. These have now been denied. Parmeshwar Bava for NDTV.
And now the big social media war. 10 million users signed up for Meta's newly launched Threads app. In its first 7 hours, company's chief Mark Zuckerberg has claimed. He has pitched the new app as a friendly rival to Twitter. This comes days after Twitter capped the number of tweets users can see per day, the latest in a series of issues the app has been facing since Elon Musk's takeover. Threads allows users to post up to 500 characters and has many features similar to Twitter. When Twitter users called it a copy-paste app, Elon Musk responded with a laugh emoji. Threads is now available to download in over 100 countries, including the UK, but not yet in the European Union because of the regulatory concerns.
All right, hey everyone, big news today. We are launching Threads, an open and friendly public space for conversations. It takes the best parts of the Instagram experience and creates a whole new app around text, ideas, and sharing what's on your mind. You just sign up with your Instagram account, you have your followers already there, and you can just get into it and get started. And it is available on the App Store now. The people who've tried it out so far, the reactions have been really great, and I am looking forward to the fun journey ahead to turn this into the kind of big and friendly community that I think we all want to see in the world. All right, looking forward to seeing you all over there on Threads.
And that's all we have for you in this bulletin. Thank you for watching. But before we say a goodbye, a reminder to all of our viewers to download the NDTV app if you already haven't, to get all the latest update on news round the clock.